Well, that's a good thing.
So
because the only reason why I ask is being as an athlete playing in a stadium, there's going to be more booze, right? And it's one thing I teach people is the way to look at it. I think Roosevelt mentioned it once, is the fact that you're in the arena working and they're on the outside paying to watch you.
Yeah.
That's the compliment itself, regardless of what they're doing, because they don't have the courage to step inside and do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question to see.
I've never booed anyone in my life, not at a show and nor at any sporting event. I think a boo is tacky.
Yep.
I mean, my boo is I just won't respond. Like I won't clap. I won't cheer.
Yes.
How about you just don't cheer?
Yeah. Why do you have to go that next step?
Well, booing. Like I don't understand booing. I think it's very rude.
Yeah.
Booing is a kid's thing to do, and we teach kids don't boo.
We try to.
We try to.
Yeah.
It's not a nice thing to do. Just don't cheer.
Yeah. That's a good point.
You're there for cheer your team.
Yeah.
Just don't cheer the other team. That's it.
So you would say that is then going around to the world, yes, that we as society don't do enough of support one another. We normally want to put down before we lift up across the board.
I think it's an interesting concept. I think when it comes to things like booing, some people get a kick out of it. Like they enjoy putting people down or want to make them feel worse.
Yeah.
But I don't understand this concept. Like I said, you don't have to pretend cheer.
Yeah.
But you also don't have to boo. You don't have to go the other way either.
They're probably just insecure themselves and want to validate by making you look fair, so they look better.
The football's a classic one,
Yeah.
I know Sydney's big on its rugby and rugby league and all that sort of stuff, right? In Melbourne, AFL is a bigger.
Are you an AFL supporter?
Not really. I didn't do a lot of sport. As a kid, I followed Richmond a little bit.
Okay.
Because my uncles went for Richmond.
You're Italian and no Italian football?
No, should be Carlton for us.
Right,
Italians
okay.
Carlton. Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
And what about Italian football?
Only the big, only the World Cup.
Yeah.
I get into the World Cup and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't really follow it.
I'll be honest, I played the sport for over 15 years and I don't watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a sporting, even though I played as a profession.
Yeah.
I don't naturally turn to watch sport, and everyone that knows me knows that.
How do you feel when you hear boos? Whether they're towards your team or the opposite team.
So if it's towards me, I've just grown up. I think from a very young age, I just saw a bit of trouble on the street, and I learned quickly to know how to protect myself and not allow negativity to creep in. So when someone boos me, I take it as a compliment that you wish I was on your team. So I always try and flip it in a way where
repurpose it for yourself.
Yeah. So if someone says, "Oh, you're shit," I'm thinking, "All right, that's cool. Like I know my own worth. Your opinion doesn't affect me as long as if your opinion is on the lines of my goals.
Yeah.
Then that's great. That means you're in a good side of me. But if you're trying to put me down, then why would I allow you to? Why would I entertain your thoughts?
Yeah.
Easier said than done, right? Because not everyone can do that, and that's something I try and coach people is. If the goals don't align with you, then they're not valid enough to tell you this.
Yeah.
And that's where bullying starts and stuff like that. So I'm very against that. I've never been bullied. I don't know why. It's not important.
It's a good thing you haven't.
Yeah, but I hate bullies. So playing football like trolls and all that stuff. I remember one game. It was.
Well, trolls are online bullying, really.
Yeah, well, that's what they are.
A form of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was one game when I was playing at Sydney FC. And against Sydney FC, and we won. We lost to Sydney FC. We were on top of the table, and Sydney FC were below. And I was going to the side to my ex-partner, and these 3 Sydney FC fans were giving me shit, like yelling, screaming, swearing, dickhead, blah, blah, blah. And my ex-partner was getting angry at them for having to go at me. And I said, "It's all right, don't worry, it's all good. Like, well done, guys, you won, but it's hard when you're on top of the table to know where Sydney is." Like, I went that way. And then within seconds, like, it's only a joke, Page. Can we have a photo?
Yeah.
So from diffusing, you saw you're not really being that person, but why start that way? But if you just kind of sense that not everyone is actually nasty and they're just trying a bit of banter, but that banter can cause someone to go into depression.
Yeah, that's right, because you don't know how someone's going to take it.
Yeah, so
know?
it's dangerous unless you got a
You
strong
got to have
mind.
a thick skin.
Yeah.
not
What about
listen
that?
to-
Do you ever have that feeling going on stage? What happens if they don't like me, or how do you prep? What's your prep?
Yeah, absolutely. Like there are gigs that you do where you walk off going, I don't think they liked me.
Right,
I don't
okay.
think they liked who I was or the content, or it wasn't for them. What's important though is that you don't necessarily have to come out of every gig being like, it'd be good, obviously, but it's not always going to happen.
Yep.
But if you've delivered with confidence and you are strong in your material, maybe it hasn't hit, at least you can walk off going, I was confident, I did my set, I didn't let it get to me. It wasn't my night, it wasn't my audience. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
You can't push people to laugh at you. They either laugh or they either find it funny or they don't find it funny, But if you were not prepared and then they don't like you and then you start blaming it on them or as a shit audience, it's like, nah, it's not necessarily a shit audience. Maybe we just didn't do a great job that night.
Yep.
It's not always the audience.
Yep.
Sometimes we're just not well prepared.
And I asked this question through my own experience of public speaking that I do a bit of, because it never happened before until this one I did in front of 100 people, where I shared a lot of things, some powerful things, some funny things, and the responses was quite hearing crickets in the background. And that was playing in my mind while I was delivering it, thinking, all right, keep to your theme, don't allow it. And then at the end of the show, I was like, end of the seminar, so I was like, and then they all separately came up and said, wow, Paige, that really connected with me. What
They
you
were
said.
listening. They were listening intently, yeah.
So I walked away thinking, it's not what you assume it is in that moment.
Yeah. No, not always. And actually that's a valid point, because there have been times where I've walked off going, I didn't do so well. And then in the foyer, complete strangers, not friends, see, that's the key, not friends, but strangers, they have come up to me and said, really loved your set, it was really funny, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I haven't believed it.
Yeah,
I'm like, really?
yeah.
In my back of my mind, I'm like, is this guy pissing in my pocket? Like, does he feel, because you don't have to.
Yep.
You do not have to come up to me.
That's right.
Because you owe me nothing. I don't even know you.
Yeah.
But you are. So I'm going to, if you are, you've taken your time to do that, thank you.
Yeah.
Obviously, So sometimes we are our own worst
Correct.
enemy, and we criticize ourselves
Way too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
But maybe some of us are perfectionists as well. We want to try and deliver something good.
Yeah.
In whatever medium that
you
we're
are,
in.
yeah. Do you feel like that's something that you do a lot yourself, or you've understood from a very young age how to have a balance in act to understand nothing is perfect?
I think the balance. I think the balance is important. You've got to care about what you do.
Yeah.
And to care about it, you've got to prepare for it.
Yeah.
And work at it. The stagecraft in my business, the stagecraft is important.
Yeah. With your craft, have you ever had a really tough day or shit day, or you're not feeling great and you have to rise to this level? Has that happened where people on stage have no idea that you might be feeling shit, or if you do have depression at times or whatever?
Yeah.
How do you master that performance while having all of this?
Yeah, it's tricky when that happens, and we're all human.
That's right.
It all happens, and I don't doubt that some of the biggest actors out there, some of the biggest comedians out there, on the day of their 1,000 people that are coming to see them, have not had shit that's happened during that day in their life.
Yeah,
and they've had to get on that stage and deliver.
Yeah,
without anyone knowing what crap happened in their life, and it's not easy.
Yeah,
it's the trick is always about learning how to leave the baggage at the theatre door.
Yep.
And just, that's where the professionalism comes in.
Correct.
That's what defines a professional from a non-professional.
Yes.
Because a non-professional would not have the skills to be able to do that if they've just had a breakup, if their mum's ended up in hospital, they've crashed their car, or whatever that is.
Yep.
A professional is still shitty about those things, but has the skills to leave it at the door, deliver the performance, and pick up the crap at the door again, and deal with real life.
Yep.
And that's the thing, like, that's why you're a professional, because you're able. We can count on you to still deliver no matter what's happened in your life. And yes, there have been times when things like that have happened.
Yeah.
I've had breakups and all sorts of stuff that have happened. Not just little breakups, substantial, long-term relationships that have fallen apart. And within the week, I've got 3 shows to do that weekend, and you're feeling horrible and somewhat depressed. You're feeling all those things where you just want to stay in bed. You don't want to see the world, and your mind is elsewhere.
Yeah.
But you get on that stage, the moment you pick up the mic, there's something else that takes over. There's still me in the background, but there's something else that takes over. And actually, I've always felt that when those moments have happened to me in my life and I've had to get on stage is when I've proved to myself that I am in the right business.
Great. Yep. Okay.
Because I've gotten off stage sometimes going with a lot of bad stuff that's happened and gone, I can't believe I just got through that, because I want to go home and cry.
Yes. Okay.
About whatever's happened in my life.
Yeah.
But I got through that.
Yeah.
No one knew. Everyone laughed at my jokes. Everyone seemed happy.
Yeah.
But I'm not happy.
Yeah.
So at those points, I've gone, I don't have to be a star. I don't have to be a celebrity, but I know I'm in the right job.
Yeah.
I think because if you manage to do it in situations like that, where other people would cancel, they go, I can't deal with that. I can't get on stage. I can't,
They don't know how to pull it together.
Yeah, got to pull it together. Correct.
Yeah. And that's because you're such your platform is a positive, it's comedy, it's all about laughs. And your whole page shows that. Is it important to you to stay on that theme regardless of when things don't go your way or whatever? Because I'm a believer myself in, like, when you share something that's not right, you share it in an empathetic way, not a sympathetic way. So, yes, we can say I've had a shit day or whatever, but because your theme is about laughs and all of that stuff, you're still being real. Do you try and deliver your bad moments through a positive output?
I do in time.
Okay.
In time, I do. When in my personal life, I've come to a comfortable position with whatever the case has happened. Then I can reflect on it. Yeah. And I can then use it.
Okay.
In some way.
Yes.
Through comedy, of course. Because you still got to find the humor somewhere. It's comedy. You got to find the joke. But probably I wouldn't use it initially. Like if it's just if it's still raw, I probably wouldn't. Wouldn't use it on stage. I wouldn't.
Great. Yeah, because you haven't dealt with it, right?
I haven't dealt with it until I've dealt with it. Because I think that the risk there is that if you attempt to do that, you will deal with it aggressively on stage.
Yep. Yes.
So let's take a relationship breakdown. That's one of the common things, worldwide thing we all go through, right? You had a bad relationship breakdown and you're a performer and you got to get on stage and you're a stand-up comic. It's tempting to do some gags where you hammer your ex or you hammer relationships or love or whatever it is, right? That's a common. But if you do that too quickly, you will come off aggressively and people will know that it's something recent and raw. And people will see through it. I believe people will see through it. I think you need to get comfortable with what's happened. That might take months, could take a few years before you pick that content up in your life and go, okay, I've found a cool gag for this. And now I'm over it. So I'm going to pitch it and deliver it with a non-aggressively. I'm going to deliver it as someone who's overcome those emotions and I'm just going to have fun with it. It was what it was.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think when it's really raw in your life, look, I'll just speak for myself. I stay clear of it.
I swear you must have been at my podcast the other night with my guest, because what you said, I exactly said that. I spoke to someone a few weeks back who went through a quite traumatic moment in his life a year or two ago.
Yep.
And I said to him, be careful using this on the platform to share mindset and how to get through things, because you haven't dealt with it.
Correct.
And it's going to hurt you deeper, and people are going to start to see through that and start pulling away.
Yes.
It's crazy. How many people would you see across social leveraging the negativity of using something to gain?
All the time.
Scary.
And what happens is when something is still raw, even the way the language you use to talk or describe or whatever it is about that, you can see when you scroll through social media, you can see by what people write sometimes. They've just had a shit day, like something, you know. And sometimes it's quotes. They like to put up quotes, or sort of, you know, that's reflective of things that are going on in their life.
Yeah.
But if you're a performer, it's different to use that. I just think you should be careful using that too quickly.
Yep. Yeah.
Unless you're Ricky Gervais, then it's different. Because you've had
he's
40 years of experience of grabbing that sort of stuff. I'm talking about, you know,
do you like Ricky Gervais?
I do like Ricky, yeah, I do like.
You know, the very first, because I lived in England 19 years ago. I played football over there, and I remember seeing his Office and Ricky Gervais, and I didn't like him at first.
Yeah,
I liked Lee Evans.
Yeah,
I found him very funny.
Yeah,
until I saw Ricky in stand up, and then I respected him way more, and then I liked The Office.
So the only thing I don't like of Ricky is The Office.
Yeah.
I love the American Office.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
But it's his show. It's Ricky's show. It's
That's
Ricky's
right.
concept. But everything else Ricky has done, I've loved.
Yeah.
I love his stand-up. I love the extras.
Yes.
That television show was great.
Yeah.
The last one he did, oh my goodness, escapes me. It's more of a drama. But he's very funny in it.
The movie?
No, it's a series. Oh my goodness. 2-word title. He loses his wife.
Oh, that one. Yes, I still haven't seen it, and he's talking.
You remember the title?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, people out there, you'll know what we're talking about. It slipped my mind. He's very good. Very good show.
I got to watch it. I still haven't watched it. That's the one I was talking about, not a movie. Okay. Yeah. So why don't you?
Afterlife.
Yes, that's it.
Afterlife.
Correct.
Yep.
So why don't you like The Office?
I don't know why his version doesn't make me laugh.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know his version, but Steve Carell and all of them, I enjoy a lot.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why, because I laugh at all his other stuff.
same. I saw this. It's been 19 years. I can't answer why I don't.
And
like
the
it.
irony is that it's his show, and now Australia's making their own. Do you
Are
about that?
they?
Yeah, and they've put a female in the lead protagonist.
Are you looking? Are you interested to look for it, or are you put
in
yourself
watching?
forward? No, putting yourself forward.
Well, I mean, it doesn't really work like that, you know. Like auditions come through your agent.
Yeah,
and
of course.
And then if you're right, you might get submitted for a role. I haven't received anything for The Office, but had something come up, I'd definitely audition for it. I don't think Australia's going to do a good job of it. I think it's going to be a completely different Office to what we've seen in the British or the American version. Personally, I don't know why they're doing it. Just leave it alone.
There's just some things that...
They're two classics now.
Yeah.
They made it work. Leave it alone. That's my personal opinion. But apparently it's in production.
Okay, yep. No, I did hear that on a grapevine.
Australian version.
Did you like watching Acropolis growing up?
Yeah, loved it. Loved
Same,
it. I mean, that's you know, when we look at sort of ethnic comedy, a lot of it started that way.
You've done some work with George.
Me and George are great friends. Great friends.
Yeah.
We've been doing work together. It's got to be at least 7-8 years now. The same time frame that I've worked with Joe Avardi as well. So Joe and I have done a lot of work too. But George, more recently, I've done more work with George than Joe, because Joe is doing a big tour on his own. I used to open for Joe. And with George, we've been on tour together with Tahir as well, and we're going on tour again this year. After I do my solo show, we're doing a tour. I mean, like working with these people, it's surreal for me as well. Because I grew up watching them, and for my opportunities and doors to open to now work with your idols and call them colleagues and then be able to call them mates, to be able to pick up the phone and call George Capaneris,
cool, right?
Hey, George, what are you up to? Like, it's not anymore, but initially it was a bit of a pinch me moment.
Cool.
You know, George's my mate, you know, Joe's my mate. Like, I used to listen to Joe on a cassette tape when in high school that was getting passed around. But you work hard. You open up the right doors and you show them that you're serious about it and you're not just
a comic, a flag
in the wind, just
Is
no.
that a hard, tricky one? to be taken seriously, even though you're always being funny? It must be that behind the scenes where the difference of a professionalism is, right? What you say.
Because it's business.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, it's business. It's show business.
Yes.
And there's huge business side to it. People go, what do you do during the day? All business. I